Welcome back to the garage, everybody. So today we'll be starting a really big project I've been wanting to do for some really long time now, which is replacing these old pop-up headlights from my 91 MR2 and replacing them with some bi-xenon LED housings. So let's not waste any time and start taking these headlights apart. Alright, so here's our headlight removed, and you can see this is the amount of room we have to work with. So I can almost guarantee there will be some cutting. So let's move over and show you the projector lens I want to use. Alright, so this is a product I wound up going with. This is something called ZoneTech bi-xenon projector lenses. I'll put a link down in the description of where I got these from. So the reason I'm using these is because I'm very limited on space, and these offer the most compact unit I could possibly come up with. So this headlight kit is originally made for, it's a retrofit headlight kit for your older model cars. So this goes into your headlight after you take it apart, and you screw this onto the back of it, and that's how you retrofit it. However, we're using these in a let's just make your own headlight kit, and I probably will not be using these chrome covers for that headlight. Also, these are made to handle high beams and low beams, so here's a flapper for that, and we'll just have to integrate this wiring that controls that as well. So I've already taped this thing up so I can start making some measurements, so now we're going to go back to the car and see the actual area we're going to try and put these. Alright, so our first area of concern is what is level and how much room do I have after I find level. So just using this straight edge and the lowest piece of where this bumper is going to meet up at, we're going to find level. So that looks about right there. And from here, we're going to measure up the top of the body line, which gives me 4.5 inches. So with 4.5 inches in mind, we have enough space to actually place our lens in this general area here, have coverage for our plexiglass lens that's going to come over top of it. Now with those measurements in mind, now this is a 3-inch tall lens, which will fit in here where I'll still be able to cover it with the lens and still make level, so it won't have interference with the bumper structure. However, this is where the interference starts. Now to make this fit the way I want it to, I want to have it completely recessed back here to where this black portion is pretty much right here. So this means all that is going to go now. We've cut the hole in here, I can give you an idea of where about I want this headlight to sit. So as you can see, this is as far pushed back as I could get it before I start getting into that drip rail. So I don't really want to cut into that if I don't need to. And I do think this will be enough clearance to make the headlight cover and give me that level. So now we need to make a mounting bracket for this, which will require a cardboard template. Alright, here's the cardboard template, all kinds of mocked up. So you can see this is where we're going to mount the headlight. And we're using these 4 unused holes as mounting locations, which will bolt through the back. This particular flange is going to mount to the firewall area, that's the fender well area. And these are going to fold forward and mount to the radiator support location. Let's turn that into metal. And in order to save time, we've now turned our cardboard template into a workable mounting bracket. In case you're asking yourself why these are so long, these are also going to serve as headlight adjustment screws so I can move this thing around and get proper level. So the headlight and headlight bucket is temporarily mounted. I have 2 self-tapping sheet screws there, as well as 2 on the inside of that fender well. I'm pretty sure at this point we're going to come back later and do some plug welds on that. But for now we can close that hood and see how things line up. Alright, there's the first look with the hood closed. You see we have plenty of room to work with here. And you can't do one side without doing the other. As you can see, that blue line there pretty much is going to change the body line on that hood. Eventually I'm going to change that to that angle and change the entire lens. So now that we have 2 headlights relatively well mounted in there, we're going to start making a bucket for here to mold out of fiberglass. So again, cardboard template. Now, here's the first look at the cardboard template I'm coming up with. This is still a very rough draft. You can see how it's going to meet that new body line that I have shaped into the hood. So further looking into it, this bucket is going to mount into the car and recess around that HID that I explained earlier. I will not be using that chrome trim. So like I said, this is still a very rough draft. You can see it drops down. That's below level. What I do want is to make in my rendition of this is have that level line there. So I'm going to use this to help me create that. And I guess while I'm talking about it, I'm going to add a row at some point of LED or eagle eye headlights. Running lights are going to run along that line here just to give us some extra attention to detail. So back to making templates. Cardboard template version 2.0. As you can see, I've gotten rid of that dip down that was in there. This kind of makes it more smooth, as well as, so I have these flaps that go across the top. They're going to add for adding mounting locations, as well as a bonding surface to where the clear lens is going to mount to. So if we look on this side, you can see here there's a big height difference that runs up and around, as well as down that way as well. So we're going to have to come up with another cardboard template to make some extra structural frame members to hold up this headlight. And I plan on having mounting location here and here for that as well. As well as you can see, this little piece comes down the bottom. We're going to wind up mounting the headlight to the back of this for its 3rd or 4th support location. Alright, here's that template for that structural piece. It's going to fold in and around. And it's going to fit just underneath of these flaps. So I'll have structure to bolt this down to. They're on the top side and along the bottom. And these little tabs here and here will be used for spot welds down to the rad support and there as well. So we're going to make these out of metal for the left and the right, and we'll go on from there. And here's looking at that metal piece put in there. You can see it covers up that space, giving me a good location to mount everything down to. But now that we've built all that, I believe we can move on and make an additional headlight bucket. This time we're going to be using some ABS plastic. We're going to be using that as a mold to mold this fiberglass so we'll have no seams in it. is all cut out, the hole drilled through, and I made a mess. Alright, so the next thing to do is to fold all these edges, just like the same method I did when I folded this ABS plastic on the diffuser. So now we're going to get out the heat gun. We're going to get this thing bent up. Alright, here's the first look at these headlights all folded up, just roughly mounted in here. Now we need to work on these accent lights we're going to run along the side, and I'll show you those now. Alright, here are the pack of 10 Eagle Eye lights I'm going to be using for accent lights in these headlights. These are pretty nice looking units, and I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll show you how they light up now. So next thing to do is figure out how to mount these in those headlights for the mold purposes. So to do that, we're going to be making a template, of course. So to assist me in my fiberglass template, I'm using this 1/2" PVC, which you can see will fit this LED angel eye bulb really well. So we're going to integrate these into that mold that we're making. And we're going to start out by cutting this tube into 4 2-inch sections. Alright, so I've mocked up 2 templates. This is showing how these are going to fit in here as the lens holder. I had to make 2 lines, one to keep it centered, and the second one to follow a level line. So the second template is made for the punch holes to keep all these on a level surface, as you can see. So now I'm going to apply this to my headlights and transfer those holes over, so we can mount these PVC pieces in there for part of the mold. Alright, here we are all cut out. Now the next thing to do is to lay these in here and secure them with some hot glue. Here's just a quick look at how this mold or headlight's supposed to look and how those eagle eyes are supposed to fit in there. So now we got to prepare this for fiberglass fill. Alright, this is where it's going to get real interesting. I've got my resin, I've got my chopped matte fiberglass ready to go and cut the shape. This is the 1 ounce thickness version. So now we're going to start applying the layers of fiberglass. Alright, 3 layers of fiberglass matting applied to both of these left and right headlights. I did use this entire 28 fluid ounces of resin and just had to use a little bit of this smaller one. But it came out okay. I need to go through now and do a lot of body work just to smooth out the rough fiberglass portion of it. So for now we need to pull them out of the molds. Quick look at them removed from the molds, so I can reuse these molds again. I just had to remove those PVC accent pipes out of there just to be able to release it. So now we can move on to cleaning these up. Alright, got all the holes drilled and the body work done on these two shells. So now we're going to put just a few coats of some primer on here and we'll see what fits. Alright, here I have things coming together. Got those accent driving or running lights in there. I'll turn them on for you to show you how bright they are. Super bright. It should turn out well. Let's keep working. Alright, now it comes time to wire these things in. So when you're looking at 4 of them in a row, you wind up with a wad of wiring. Additionally, this is some really thin stuff that's difficult to work with. So what I wound up coming up with is using these bus bar systems. They're kind of easy to work with, they're really adjustable, and you can bind as many of these together as you want with these little connectors that they have. As well as it gives me something I can mount to the underside of this light to keep everything organized. So this is how that turned out. You keep your wiring in line, everything went through the bus bar, and it shares a common positive and negative, and we can wire this to the car. Alright, here it is put together for the first time. Things fitting pretty good. You can see I just made these quick cardboard templates of what the hood's going to turn into. We'll have to make that next. So now that we're here, I should show you them lit up. There they are. Both headlights lit up with the running lights, the eagle eyes going on as well. Alright everybody, so this is going to be the end of video number 1 for this custom headlight build. So please hit that subscribe button right here and join me next time when we start part 2, where we're going to make the heat molded clear Lexan or plexiglass lens that fit each headlight. We're also going to mold the steel to match that. Alright, thanks for watching guys, see you next time.